Hey y'all, so today I'm coming to you with a little bit of different twist. So I have my notebook here and I took a lot of notes and I want to help you to determine what these enemies are so that you can address them and get some true deliverance in your life for yourself today, right? So that you can operate and get into all of the blessings that God has for you, right? So the first thing I want to talk to you about is Galatians 3 and 13, which is Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law, right? And we have to look at what is the curse of the law, right? So the curse of the law is death. That's the curse. The curse is death. When you sin and you operate in sin knowingly or unknowingly. And what I've learned is that ignorance is basically just something that we ignore. So we can be ignorant to things, but that doesn't mean we're not held accountable because we didn't seek out the knowledge. We want to ignore it. Sometimes in life we always say, I don't want to know that. It's just better left not knowing, because now we feel like we're not held accountable. But yes, you truly are being held accountable for that sin regardless. So Paul quotes in Deuteronomy 27 and 26 how cursed is everyone who does not continue to do everything written in the book of the law. Okay, so everyone falls under the curse of the law because no one is perfect, right? But we are given salvation and we can repent, right? So God sent Jesus so that we can fall under grace. I want you to get your notebooks. Please write these scriptures down so that you can go and do your own research for yourself. Don't just take my word. Take it, do the research, go to God and see if this word is for you, okay? Because it may not be for everybody, but I want you to take it to God. So for true deliverance, never to return to the sin, the Bible refers to casting out legions, right, or many demons, according to Luke chapter 8, verse 26 to 33. And the scripture lets you know that the man wasn't even operating in his right mind. Okay, I'm going to go to that scripture just so you can see. When Jesus stepped ashore, he was met by a demon possessed man from the town. Demon possessed, okay? And for a long time, this man had not worn clothes or lived in a house, but he lived in tombs. So that means he lived amongst the dead. And that lets you know right there, he was not in his right mind if he was not wearing clothes and he wasn't living in a house. And usually sometimes we can refer to those people of today as like homeless people. They'll give up everything that they have and they'll walk the streets. And that's because they're not in their right mind. They are operating in demons. But yet that doesn't mean that because we have houses and we wear clothes, it doesn't mean that we aren't possessed with demons as well. So please understand that part. When he saw Jesus, he cried out and fell at his feet, shouting to the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you, don't torture me." So he asking God, like, what you want with me? I guess he be living just fine in his own torture and torment. So he thinking God about to come torment and torture him some more, right? But Jesus had commanded the impure spirit to come out of the man. Many times it had seized him. And though he was chained hand and foot and kept under guard, he had broken his chains and had been driven by the demon into solitary places. Oof. I'm going on to verse 30. I love this part. So I'm gonna read up to to verse 33. But verse 30 says, Jesus asked him, "What's your name?" "Legion," he replied. Now this ain't the man. This is the demons operating in the man that responded to Jesus, okay? And they begged Jesus. Okay, so it's many. They begged Jesus repeatedly not to order them to go into the abyss. So legion is representative of many demons, okay? So a large herd of pigs was feeding there on the hillside. The demons begged Jesus to let them go into the pigs, and he gave them permission. When the demons came out of the man, they went into the pigs. And the herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and was drowned. The demons went into the water, y'all. So the demons didn't have a vessel to go into, and they wanted Jesus to put them into another body, which were the pigs. And when they went into the bodies, they went into the water. They went in the lake, y'all. This is prominent of mermaid spirits, marine spirits, all these spirits that operate in the water and come up out, and they find bodies to get into. And yes, you can very well be susceptible to these demons, right? And legions can represent many demons, because when we get rid of sin and we return back to that sin allows the demons to come back. And what they do, they bring 7 more demons with them. So for each sin that you go back to, you are allowing 7 more demons for one sin to enter back into your body. So if you got 5 sins and 7 of them come back that you don't return to, that's 35 demons in your body. That's why he said legions, because it was many demons that was operating in this man that had him totally out his mind. Like he was not in his rightful place, period. He didn't even know what was going on. He thought he was, I guess, cool living amongst the dead, amongst the tombs. And he was thinking Jesus was coming to torture him because Jesus wanted to get these legions up out of him. Jesus was trying to heal him. And that's a lot of times that we do in our life. We don't want the healing to take place because it's so painful. We think it's just so bad to go through that process when Jesus want to just cast it out of us. Right? So it says that sin can enter our body through many forms, but the most common form that I refer to with a lot of things is intercourse. Okay? That demon right there, when you lay down and engage into those type of activities with other unclean spirits, they can enter your body, which we call soul ties, right? I mean, you get songs that's on the social media apps that people are going mainstream, and they're going viral, and a lot of people are singing to them and dancing to them and not really understanding what the lyrics are saying. A lot of times these days people go off of the beat. If the beat sound good, I'm with it, but not knowing that the vibration of that music is operating on a low level frequency. Okay. And the enemy wants as many souls as he can get. We know that, right? And the devil honors abortions. Abortions. Why do the devil honor abortions? It's because he is entering a blood contract with you. So think about how many times people have gone through abortions unwillingly, like teenagers especially, when their parents have made them go get abortions, right? And they are unknowingly entering this blood contract with the devil, right? Just like we are saved by the blood of Jesus, the devil got his own blood contract that he wants out of us, right? And so now that's why you see it's such an uproar when people are getting mad because abortions is being banned, because they don't realize that the enemy is operating through them. The enemy like, no, don't take that away. I need that, because that keeps the covenant to keep these people aligned with me. These are contracts that these people are signing with me by going through that process. And so when you ban abortion, he's done got so far into the people's minds that people are rejecting to ban abortions, when that act should be done purposefully. And I understand that there are certain reasons why people may want that done. And yeah, there should be a clause in that. I don't know. I can't say if it should be a clause in it or not, because if it's God's will, the child will come. We can't put the destiny that God has over our life. We can't put that in our hands and determine whether or not a child should be here, regardless of how it was brought here. So I can't answer that. You got to go to God and see, in those specific cases where you feel that abortion may be necessary. I'm just a messenger. I'm just speaking the word of God and what God honors and what the devil wants in his kingdom. Okay, so that's something you have to take up with God and pray about. However, a lot of females were forced into blood contracts by their own parents or their partners who they thought loved them, right? And you could love them, but a lot of parents have operated out of ignorance. Okay. Says once you are delivered, stop having clean spirits, okay? Because not only are you allowing that person to come back into you, but whoever they have slept with, you are now attaching yourself to their demons as well. They are, especially if you're a woman, they are entering into your body. This is detrimental. And now we have it where the devil comes in as a child and they do certain things such as SA to people, and they begin to manifest and fester as they become adults. They become addicted to so many things like porn. When they are entering into that phase where they don't care, they just want what they want. They want to feed their flesh. And it's important to not have intercourse if you're not sure about who you are supposed to be with. And I look at people now, I'm able to see, okay, are you even worth the risk? Because a lot of times when people go out and cheat or have multiple partners, they really don't care about themselves. So how could they care about bringing you back a disease, let alone a soul tie? Like a soul tie is something you can't see because it's in the spiritual realm. But to bring you back a disease, that means they don't care about themselves. So why do you want to sleep with multiple people or try to get back at a dude or a girl because they cheated on you, and so you're going to go back and do the same thing? You're inviting these enemies and these demons inside of your body, inside of your soul. Like they're taking over. And now it's to the point where a lot of people don't even recognize that they are in sin. They think they perfect and holy. They like, oh no, not me. I'm living perfect and holy for the Lord. Luke chapter 11 verse 24 through 26 says, when an impure spirit comes out of a person, it goes through arid places seeking rest and does not find it, right? Then it says, I will return to the house I left. That means they're trying to come back to your body. When it arrives, it finds the house swept clean and put in order. That means you got your life together. You done cast out all the sin out of your life, right? But then it goes and takes 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they go and live there. And the final condition of that person is worse than the first. Walk away from the sin, y'all. Walk away, especially sexual sin. And a lot of people sit up there and say, have as many partners as you want, date around as much as you want. This is not the time to do that, honestly speaking, because you don't know who the opsy is. You don't know who working for the devil. You don't know who is who. You don't know who have what. So you cannot just go around casually dating every guy and saying, is this my spouse, Lord? Is this my spouse? In due time, God will reveal to you who you are supposed to be with. But you have to get yourself into alignment in other areas of your life. Because if God brings you a partner, he's not going to add sorrow to it. So why would you think that you're going to bring sorrow to the next person when you haven't been healed because you're so busy trying to date because you don't want to be alone? You want somebody else to have sorrow in their life from your unhealed place? Because guess what you're going to do? You're going to be like, oh, you back with that girl again. Oh, who was that texting you? It's going to always be constantly, you're going to be constantly like accusing them of being with somebody if you're not healed. You're going to be constantly accusing, where was you at? You ain't answer your phone. Things happen. We always look to the word. So you have to be clean in those areas before you can even date. But yet you so busy trying to get with a man or a woman that you don't see that you are not ready. And when you become ready, or when the time is near, when you get close to being ready, God knows your heart. He knows you don't want to be alone, but he wants to make sure that he's not adding sorrow to both you and your partner, right? Whew, that's a word for the day. When you go down to verse 28, it states, blessed are those who hear the word of the Lord and obey it. So you're hearing the word of the Lord today. Please obey it, y'all. Like, it's not worth it. God is going to bless you so much farther greater than what you think you like. See, in our unhealed places, we think we like a certain type of person, because a lot of times we're going off of looks. We're going off of what we had in the past and what we don't want again. And we really don't know what we want until we experience something worse, right? And I've been through this. Trust me, I'm telling you this from experience. And now when I got healed from those relationships, I look back and I'm like, none of them was really worth it. I didn't do no better picking. So I gotta trust that God will do the picking for me, because I don't trust myself no more. I can't do some good pickings. I ain't picked nobody good yet. I mean, I've had some decent people, don't get me wrong, but my pickings has not been the greatest. And you can vouch and say the same thing for yourself if you be honest enough with yourself. And that's where we come into part two, where we don't be honest with ourselves. Be honest with yourself about what it is you're going through, what it is you're dealing with, because you're not lying to God. He already knows what you're going through. He already knows what areas you need worked on. It's you that don't know what areas you are being worked on. You can deceive some of the people some of the time, because see, sometimes the people even see straight through you, right? But you can never deceive God. And you cannot deceive other people like you are deceiving yourself. You believe your lies more than other people believe it. So I really want you to be honest before I step into what those unclean demons are. Some of these demons, right? We're going to talk about Lucifer. He is the demon of pride, right? That's the sin. The sin is pride, envy, wrath, sloth. That means tempts men to be lazy, right? Greed, gluttony, lust, and temptation. These are like sins, okay? Then we have some princes that rules over the earth, right? These are other demons that also are considered, what you need to take a look at. You need to think about false gods, people that's idolizing certain things. And I spoke on a message before where people can idolize the pastors and the churches over God, and it's not what God is wanting. He wants you to put him first, have no other gods before him, right? So the next one is the spirit of lying. When you're lying to yourself, that's a lie. Okay? When you lie to your kids, that's a lie. I don't care if you're lying about Santa Claus. I don't care if you're lying about the Easter Bunny. It's a lie. That spirit need to come up out of you. I don't care how harmless it may seem, because you know what? Even with a child, when you lie about things like that, it makes the child not trust you as an adult, because you lied to me about Santa Claus. You lied to me about the Easter Bunny. You lied and told me that this stuff was real and it really ain't real. Right? So think about the tone that you're setting. I don't care how young the child is. Once they come to a recollection of remembering what you said to them in their childhood, because some kids can remember back to 2, some kids can remember back to 5 years old. You telling this little bitty lie, and over the years you keeping this lie up, guess what's going to happen? They're not going to trust you when they become adults. And you're going to wonder why there's division in your household amongst you and your children. So I'm just telling you, tell the truth on everything. Be honest. The next one is instruments of iniquity and wrath. Right? We always want to get back. We always want to get it back in blood. It's a lot of things that come into that. The wrath of God is the greatest wrath that we should seek, right? The ultimate revenge. Don't try to seek wrath on anybody. Revengers of wickedness, deluders or imitators of miracles. That means it could be psychics. It could be people that, going to tell you they can heal you, knowing they can't. The power is in God to heal you. Aerial powers, which is in Revelation 7:1-2, if you want to read that. Then you have people that sow mischief. Okay, look these words up if you don't know what they mean. Mischief, or imitators of miracles, or deluders, or sloth. Look them words up if you don't know. Like, take the time out, write these words down, and look them up to get a full understanding of the words. Inquisitors, people that's always asking about your business. Why you want to know my business, huh? Accusers, whether they accuse the brethren, if they accuse people of the world, okay? It don't matter. Accusers. Enslavers and tempters, right? So those are the enemies that can operate through us, right? That we don't pay attention to. Impatience, impurity, people who tempt men to hate. See, we can get on the phone and gossip with somebody and be trying to get somebody to come up against another person. Hardness of your heart. That means even if somebody broke your heart time and time again, and your heart has hardened to love, and you think your heart really hardened to love, but it haven't. Deep down inside, you really want that relationship. Deep down inside, you really want somebody to love you, but you ain't found nobody, so you got this wall up in your heart. Obscenity and shamelessness, you're not shameful of nothing. Tempts men against sexual purity. If you know somebody that's pure and they not doing anything, and you tempting them to go, come on, just one time. Come on one time. It ain't gonna hurt. Let me just stick the head in. People that tempt men with arrogance and women to be vain, raise wanton children, WANTON, children. Read that. Gossiping during mass, tempts men against the vow of obedience. Oh, you ain't got to do that. God ain't gonna put you in hell for that. Cruelty and mercilessness towards the poor. And it's funny because a lot of times people can be poor and they can be going through situations. I see this a lot on social media. They have GoFundMe accounts set up for different reasons, right? And people be like, well, why you ain't had no insurance? Why you ain't had this? They don't want to give to the people that's poor and may need it in an hour, regardless of what the person did. It's up to you if you're going to do it or you ain't, but you don't have to speak against it. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, right? So if you're going to do it, do it. If you're not, just shut up and keep going. But when you sit up there and talk about those people, but yet you give to these foundations that are already rich, it's very weird to me. How do people give to the rich but won't give to the poor? That is very weird. You'll go to the St. Jude's Cancer Foundation and all of these foundations to help certain organizations, and all they really doing with your money is paying for advertisement to get more commercial time. Talking about they doing research. Yeah, we get more commercial time so that we can get some more money out of y'all. That's all they doing. But the poor may really need it to get out of their situation. Anywho, that's what that is over there. Demons don't have direct power over people, okay? So they use forms of manipulation. They never have good intent, though, okay? The manipulation is merely to test your faith in God, okay? Demons may torment people by possessing them or by provoking visions that could induce people to sin. So when people get those thoughts in their head, oh, I got a fear of this, I don't want to go here because I got a fear of this, or whatever the vision that the demon put into your mind is what they can induce you to sin, right? They're looking for your weaknesses. And so you have to put on the full armor of God, because the enemy knows when he go after your weaknesses, he know that that's what's going to trigger you. What are your trigger points? He wants those parts of you right there, because he know it's going to cause you to sin, because you're going to speak out against it. It's like if somebody come at you and argue with you and you know you ain't did nothing wrong, you're going to come back with that clap back and be like, oh, no, you didn't. Instead of saying, you know what? Okay. To see when you do that, that the enemy get mad at you, but he know you normally gonna act out and gonna argue back and cuss people out, and you're gonna sin, right? Now you mad, you're gonna get on the phone and you're gonna gossip with your people about what this person did to you, how they did it to you, and what you said back to them. So you just committed so many sins right then and there. John 4:4 reminds us that the one within us is stronger than the one of the world, okay? So remember that he who is within you, which is God is within you. He's stronger than the world, okay? Don't be swayed by the demon's offers, okay? Recognize, you really got to pay attention in this hour. When people do things that would trigger you, when you feel you getting triggered, stop and think. Like, you ever seen, even though it's demonic, but you ever seen that's a raven, when she have a premonition of something, she be like, and she stare off into space. That's the type of mindset you need to have when you feel like you being triggered at that moment. When somebody say something to you and do something to trigger you, just stop and be like, let me think about this real quick, count to 10 and do it again. It may be hard, but think about that. I know that was a bad thing to use, but that's the only thing I can think of right now, because she just, like, she was stuck in that, and she kind of like snapped out of reality and went into that place to see what was going on in that realm, whatever she was doing. That's what I have for you today. I really wanted you to know what those sins are, and I appreciate you for tuning in and listening to me, y'all. I hope you take this message and really go to God and ask God to open up your heart and allow you to see what areas you need work on, even if you don't see things that you need to work on. Because see, a lot of times we think it's the enemy coming up against us or God trying to torture us, just like that story I read about the man who wasn't in his right mind. we think that it's God trying to torture us when really he's trying to bring those things up out of our heart so that he can bless us with his promises, y'all. That's all he's trying to do. He's going to give you peace about it in the middle of your situation. If you're not a good steward over your finances, and God needs to work on that area, he may take everything from you that wasn't from him. Like God, the devil may have blessed you, the enemy may have blessed you with your finances, so you think it's all good, and then you go through this period where everything dries up for you, because God is making sure that the enemy can't come back and say, well, I gave him this, I gave her that. But he also wants to make sure that you're a good steward over your finances as well in the process. So he's trying to prune your heart to prepare you to get the blessing from him, because it may have looked like an easy blessing where you ain't have to work for nothing because you was going to see it anyway from the devil, right? But God is making sure that he takes everything up out of your heart that's going to cause you to lose it down the line. If you are faithful over little, he'll make you ruler over much. So be faithful over these periods where you think you losing something. You're not losing anything. God is going to replace it with something better. Trust you, me. It's us that don't replace things with something else, or seeing with something good when we going through stuff. We don't want to replace it. But God is going to replace it so that you don't even miss the thing. Okay? So until next time, y'all, I love you with the love of God. And I want you to be blessed, and let's grow.